Vader's not happy. I told him it was time to bring in the incubators. Vader, are you excited about having some new chicks hatching again? No, not at all. But I'm glad you guys are here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. He left. Hey y'all, Chrissy-O here from Chrissy-O's Clucky Chronicles and ChrissyOShow.com on the website and the podcast show too. We got a lot of things going on, but it's all pretty much the same thing. I told you, today is the day, March 3rd. We have got so many eggs to look at, so many things to go through. But today's the day that we go step by step with all of you beginners. Show you how we incubate eggs. Now, I'm going to start this off and say welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Now just let's go on into the chicken yard and let's get some eggs for hatching. Alright y'all, we're inside the big old chicken barn here. So first things first. Let's assume that you already got your yard fenced in. You've already got your coops. You've already got all the things that you need to house your chickens. And you want to start hatching some things and you want to hatch some eggs. Yes, I heard you, Lynn. Lynn is one of my loudmouth roosters out here on the big chicken yard. I have 4. Nana Roo's the boss. Lynn's the security guard. Bobby's not smart, and then we have Charlie, which Charlie moved over to his angel pen with his little girls. We'll talk about that later. So right now what I want to do is just, assuming you've got everything, food, coop, runs, pens, all the things that you need. Now we're going to look at collecting the eggs for hatching. Now because I have 4 roosters, I can 100% guarantee that every one of my girls has been jiggled. Now, whether they're all hatch or not, that's a different story because eggs do what eggs do. So, let's slide on in here in the coop. I got my trusty basket here with a towel and a little bit of bedding in it so I don't slosh them all around. We don't want to shake the eggs up before we hatch them too much. And we're going to look at some eggs. We're going to see which ones we're going to keep. Hey girl. And which ones we're not going to keep. Now, remember, I've been helping you guys understand and prepare for hatching your own eggs, incubating your own eggs from your own flock or from fertilized eggs that you have purchased. Now, because I know I have fertilized eggs, we've got to go gather some eggs, see what we got, and see what we're getting ready to hatch, because that is the fun part, right? So remember when I told you guys, Martha just laid me a beautiful egg. You want to make sure that they're absolutely clean. Clean as clean can be. If there's a little bit of poo on it that you can rub off with a dry cloth or dry towel, then you want to do that. So this is pretty warm. Is there a guarantee there's going to be a baby in it? We don't know. It's either going to hatch or it's not going to hatch. You can't tell by looking at it. You can't tell by the feel or the weight, because pretty much all my eggs are going to weigh about the same. You can only tell by candling them, which I talked about previously. So let's gather the eggs. Make sure that there's no weird shapes on it. There's no extra calcifications, and there's just nothing odd about that egg that makes me think I don't want to hatch it. So this one looks pretty good. It's a good oval shape. There's no impurities that I can see on the outside of the shell. I don't see any cracks in it right here, but we'll put it under the light when we get inside to make sure that there's no cracks. So this one goes in the basket. And I know that Martha is one of my Rhode Island Reds. I see some more eggs down here, so let's take a little peeky peek and see what we got down here. Alright, I see one egg here. This is a nice shape. It's just some extra little poos. We'll dry that off and get that done. I want to check that right there though. It's not coming off. I want to make sure that that's not a bad scratch or a bad crack, because if it is, it can introduce bacteria into the baby and we can have problems. So I'm going to put this on the opposite side of my basket right here, my basket. And we're going to just look at that when we get on the inside. Now, we got this one. I'm a little bit nervous about this one because it's got an odd, funky shape on one side. So what I'm going to do when we go inside, we're going to take a little peeky peek at it and see what we got. I got 2 more eggs in here. So far, so good, except for that in the top. I'll take a little peek at that, make sure that's nothing that's going to affect the little baby. And we'll just keep it moving. We're just going to collect the eggs, go from box to box to make sure we got everything that we need. Okay? So, let's move on and see what else we find. Now we're also in my Bob White barn, and they know something's up, and I have to watch Jeffrey number 4 because he does try to jump on you and bite you. He doesn't like anybody messing with his girls or his girls' eggs, but he's the only aggressive Bob White I've ever had in my entire life, and he's kind of mean. So I have to watch him because he will buzz your head, and if he gets an opportunity, he will come up and bite your foot too. Alright, Jeffrey, get out of the way. Now, they don't like me collecting eggs, and they think that they're broody. Actually, I've never had one as they flush all out. Thank you! I wanted my head buzzed. Girl, chill! I ain't even got over there yet. They think they're broody. They're not. When they flush out like that, they're scared. They also don't want you messing with their stuff. But if you look over here, there's no eggs over there anywhere, but there's some down here that they tend to hide. I don't really know how old these eggs are because they will dig them. They will dig holes and they'll put them in there, so you have to be careful in here where you step. But they don't generally like for me to collect their eggs, and you can hear them. They are fussing. They are so angry right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look around and look for the best clutch that I can find, which way back there in the back is very promising. Up here in the front, it's pretty promising as well. So I'm going to put these in my basket, and we're going to get ready to head inside and set it all up. Alright, now that we've collected all of our eggs that we're going to assume are all fertile, being that we've got roosters and all kinds of things and willing hens, okay? So we've collected all the eggs that we need to collect. Now we have our purchased digital automatic egg turners here. This is your incubator. Now this is the type that I have, one of the types. I think I have 2 of these. The Trio Cottage. They've worked pretty well for me over the last couple years. Can't really complain about it. It has your digital temperature, different types of things. So one of the things I don't want you to do not throw away any of the foam that comes with it. Don't throw away the foam bottom. Don't throw away the foam top. That's going to help you seal in heat and help you with humidity and all of those things. So, now that you see this, let's show you what I do with the table. So, not everybody has the luxury of having these Chuck's pads or absorbent pads. If you can afford them, get them. I happen to have several boxes left over, so that's why I'm using them, because sometimes these things will leak because there's a tube that runs through the back that the water filters through, that runs in the bottom of the tray to help with the moisture and the humidity and get the right temperatures that the egg needs to be able to sustain its little life and eventually hatch. So I put this up here. You don't have to do that. You can use old towels or whatever. But my experience with these is they do tend to leak. You will spill water. That's just how it goes. I know I spill water all the time. So now let's get all these placed out here on the tables where we want them, and then we'll start setting this up. Most of your automatic incubators are going to come with a little lift pad, a raisin pad. Don't throw this away, keep it. And the reason why is this is your little reservoir where your bottle of your clean water will go into. The tube connects to here. I'm getting ready to show you, so come over this way. Here's your tube. You want to connect that tube, just kind of squish it down a little bit and squish it down and squish it down until it's connected there. Now, water needs to go down and travel down into the bottom of this reservoir, which is right down here at the bottom, right? So that's what we need to do. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to create a lift, and a raising pad is going to do that. So it has to be higher so that it can have a little way to drain in, all right? Because if it's flat, it's not going anywhere. So you need the raising pad to raise it up, just like that. Use clean water. I have well water, but I don't use well water because it's got a lot of impurities in it, and I don't want to cause any kind of issues with my babies. So I'm either going to use bottled water, distilled water, or I have like super HEPA filtered water. I just want it clean, very clean water with no impurities in it. Now these things right here can be a beast to put on that. So it's good for me. If I, look down here, I've already got this connected, right? So it's good for me to take this bottle right here, the best of my ability, the best way I can. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll fold it up over here like this, and I'll twist it down, and it should just snap on just like that. Now, when I turn it back over like this, the water's going to start flowing. It's going to start coming out in here. There's a little thing that was in the bottom of the catch basin, probably from me. But the water's going to start filtering. And you see why I have this pad here? Because all of this is wet right in here. So you're going to see the bubbles, and the water's going to come out through here, and it's going to fill the tray. Now it's going to stop once the water level gets above that little hole, which is fine. That's what you want it to do. Then, once this whole entire tray fills up in the bottom, you're probably going to have to refill some more water in here, which is fine. Just do that little trick I showed you, and you won't pour water everywhere. Now we'll take this little flat tray, just like this. It has the hole. This right here, the spout needs to be up at the top, okay? Because this is your egg turner. And you want it to, it doesn't snap or anything, but it just sits. See how it just sits on the top, and it'll help it stay there and turn, because if it's like this, guess what? It's going to do crazy stuff like this. It's not going to do anything. So this flat side goes on the bottom. On the bottom. This on the top. Then the eggs go in between. When the automatic turner thing is turned on, it will gently slide the eggs, and it will rotate the eggs for you, generally about every 2 hours. All candling is using a bright light underneath the fat part of the egg, so you can see if there's any cracks or nicks or things that shouldn't be in there. And we'll use candling throughout our process, because it takes 21 days for a chicken egg to hatch into a baby chick. Alright? So what I told you what we were going to do is we're going to go through, look at these eggs. Any excessive nasty poos, we're going to use a dry paper towel, and we're going to wipe it off. But I'm also going to candle them let's double check. Make sure there's no cracks, pips, none of that stuff in there that shouldn't be in there, okay? So let's do that, go through these eggs, and then we're going to start putting them in our incubators. So I'm going to take one of these eggs, if you get a little bit close in on it. I don't really see anything on the outward appearance of it, and I'm just turning it real easy and real gentle, because you know a mama hen, if they go broody and they sit on eggs, they turn them themselves. So your automatic incubator has an egg turner on it, and it's going to act like that mama hen, and it's going to turn it. So what I'm looking for, I'm going to take my little light here, and I'm going to put it down at the bottom of that egg, and I'm going to get in the darkest place I can get. It's kind of hard to see with it lit up like that, but I'm just gently turning it, and I don't see any cracks or anything that I should really be worried about that would affect the development of this baby. So this is a keeper, and it's going to go over here in the incubator, and I'm going to let that one roll. Now we've got some more that we've got to look at and light up, and we got some that we also have to clean. So let's get started on that. Alright, now we want to talk about quail eggs. I have bobwhite quail. I've raised them for a number of years. They're in a separate barn with a flight pen. So what we have are different sizes of the quail eggs. This is generally typically the size that I like to hatch. This is okay, but for the most part it's not going to give me a very healthy baby. This will give me a great baby. This one, no. Typically when I see these, I don't have a yolk in it, and it's not going to give me a baby or any viable baby. That means a baby that's going to live. And there is a quail fairy egg. That means one of my girl quails in there, one of my little babies, has decided she's going to start laying eggs. The ideal egg for my quail eggs, this one. Now let's bring you over to the incubator and show you how we placed them right over here. Now these right here, if you guys saw my previous video, I moved Charlie and his angels over to the front pen, and we moved the ducks that were in the front pen during the winter back to their pen with the duck pool in it. Charlie is my beautiful black and red rooster. He's part Rhode Island red and part black copper Moran, and he's successful at having me some beautiful babies, and the colors that they come up with are wonderful. So Charlie has the 4 lavenders. They're out there, and Tammy, which is a buff Orpington, which is white and gray mix. So I've put a plate here that says for hatching Charlie's eggs. As they were laying, we were collecting them in the plate. Now we've moved them over here, and we're just going to see what they hatch out. That's all we're going to do. And as they lay throughout the day and the weeks and all that, we'll fill up the rest of that, and they'll hatch at different times. Now you can number your eggs, which is fine. If I wanted to label all these with a 3, meaning March the 3rd, you can do that. That way you can keep up with it. But generally for me, I pretty much know in my head what I've got. This is from the chicken yard, the big yard general population. I have no idea. This is completely random on whose babies these are and what all we have. Now I do know that I have my olive eggers and my blue eggers, and I do have my dark eggs and these light tan that almost look a little pink. I'm a little bit nervous about putting this one in here, but we'll see. Now we've cleaned them. We've done the best we can. We have Bob Whites in here, and we've got Charlie's Angels over here. Now these incubators that I have, they hold 12 regular size chicken eggs and or turkey eggs or duck eggs, whatever you want. But for my quail, I will double them up. So I will hatch 20, well I won't hatch 24, I'll probably hatch about half of that. But I will have 24 hatchable eggs in here, and we're just gonna see what happens. So out of 24, we'll see how many we get. The last time I did 24 hatching quail eggs, I got 18 good babies out of it. That's what it looks like. Now, you want to take your top, your automatic incubator top, and you want to go along the groove, and you want to carefully put it on. Sometimes this could be a pain in the butt, but what you want to do is make sure that it fits in there, and that you push it down, and that it seals like it's supposed to seal inside there. Once it makes that seal, you're good. Now once you plug them in and you turn them on, they're going to get up to temperature. They're going to do their own thing. Be sure to follow the manual instructions that you have. Keep all of your foam, just like I showed you. Keep your foam pieces like this. Now you see the eggs that are in there. It's going to maintain moisture and the correct humidity so you don't lose anything. The fans will come on, you'll hear it, and you'll hear it turn about every, I want to say, hour and a half to 2 hours. That's great. When you first turn it on, it's going to turn the eggs anyway. So this is what you got. This is what you got. Okay? Good job. You've done it. Alright, so this gets you through the very first phase of hatching. We've collected our eggs. We've wiped them off if they're dirty. We've got all the stuff, done all the things. Made sure that now they're in their incubators, getting up to temperature and humidity. Now it's just a waiting game. It's just 21 days. The next video I'm going to show you all about candling. We're going to go into a dark room. We're going to candle, but that's going to be at the 7-day mark. So enjoy everything else in between and the other videos in between. And at the 7-day mark, when we do the candling phase, we're going to look for veins, heartbeats, blood rings, all kinds of stuff. That way we'll know what is going to be a viable egg, what's not going to be a viable egg. So continue on this little educational journey with me. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. If you missed the other videos that came before this one, I get you all set up and ready for hatching your own fertilized eggs. So go watch those, and I'll see you again on the next candling video. I have showed you how to clean those little eggs, pick out your little eggs, incubator setup. So we've set them all up. We've got everything that we need. The water bottles are doing their thing. Everything is right. The conditions and the temperature is getting up to temperature. It's getting up to the humidity that it needs to be. So now it's just an absolute waiting game. You have 21 days. Now in the next video, I'm going to show you how we candle the eggs. With that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. I hope this educational video helped you guys so much with hatching your own fertilized eggs. Now we just got to see how many babies we get. So, bye.